Okay, so now that we've got our low poly and high poly models built, we've already got uh, the top and bottom pulled out, got the sides pulled out, ready for casting. Okay, so we've already got this set up, and we've already got the high poly set up as well. Okay, the high poly is set up with a object ID embedded into it. So if I pull this out, you'll see it's just gray. But each one of these objects have gone in and gone to the object ID and give them different ID numbers. So vertical, basically I need the 4 ID numbers. I need the diagonals as an ID number, the verticals as an ID number, the horizontals as an ID number, and then the nails as an ID number. Okay, so then when I put the object ID map in, if I define that, you just go up here to your search, and you can type in object, and you'll see an object ID map in here, and then we just pull that out. So this is an OSL map, open source language, and it will put random colors on an object based on their ID. So there's no really settings to mess with in that. So it's just putting random colors in here. Okay, so okay, this all looks okay. So we can go back to the low poly. All right, so the other thing that we got to do in here, and a lot of people forget to do this, is we got to dump the smoothing groups that are in here. So we have to put a smooth modifier, or this is one way you could do it, but it's kind of the easiest way. And I want that before the projection. And then we want auto smooth, and we want this as 180 degrees. It'll make your object look a little odd, but that's because all the smoothing groups are dumped. Now the reason we do that is because it's going to be getting its smoothing groups from the high poly. So the smoothing groups that are in this is what we're going to be baking in. Okay, so we've already got everything loaded in here to bake. And so let's go to our bake to texture. Okay, I've already got this set up. Now, I've got a normal map set in here, 2048s, a color set in here. Okay, the color is going to be the mask that I'm going to create, and then the ambient occlusion is set in here. Now I need to make sure that I'm going over here on my PNG and my settings over here and make sure that I have this normal map with an alpha channel. The color, I do not need an alpha channel, so I can leave that. But on the AO, I do want an alpha channel. Okay, the alpha channel is making it transparent. The color, I can have black in the background, so I don't need an alpha. But I do want it because I want to change the background of the normal map to normal map purple, so I want it transparent. And then the AO that I put in here, okay, ambient occlusion, our shadow map, we want it to be white in the background, so I don't want a black background in that. Okay, now the other thing to know here is under rendering, our color management, we want this unmanaged, okay? And really, I only need this unmanaged to bake in the normal map and the ambient occlusion because we don't want lighting adjusted, which is what that does. I really don't want it on for the color, but the thing about it is this is going to be random colors to create a mask, and so the colors will be off from what it's generating, but it doesn't matter to me because I just need random colors, so it doesn't matter that they won't be color adjusted or light adjusted, so that's fine. I could bake all of those that way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bake these out, and then I will stop the video once it's baked. Okay, so that's finished baking. So let's go over to Photoshop. Let's open these up. Okay, so all right, so there's my normal map. Let's put that on top of the AO. Okay, close that one, and then here's our mask. And I'm going to drop that one on. Okay, let's name these. This is my object ID mask. And this is my baked normal. And this is my AO. Okay, the AO, we need to put a layer that is white behind it. Let's see, I got white in the background over here, so that's Control Delete. That'll put that in. This is my AO back. And then let's put those in a folder together. That's AO. We want to stay organized. We have to share these files. Okay, here's our baked normal. I need a normal underneath that. Then we're going to dial in our color. Normal is 128, 128, 255. And I got that in my foreground, which is Alt Delete, fills with foreground color. And this is my normal back. I'm not going to go ahead and collapse these in because we're going to do a texture normal later, and so we'll need to put that in here. So we'll put those in a group together. So this is normals. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is go to Max, and we need to bake a couple of Max using the unwrap. Okay, so what we'll do, we got to pick the low poly, go to its unwrap, open this up. And we're going to tools, render UV template. So we're going to turn the edges off here, all these edges off. Let's go to solid right here, and then let's dial in a kind of a brown color. Okay, this is going to be our base color is what it'll end up being. Make sure it's 2048 by 2048. And then let's render that. And why do I have a piece missing here? Ooh, okay, we have a problem here. Okay, so, all right, so we have a problem here that the person that gave me this file didn't ever check this, okay, and let me show you what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to render a UV template, and you see how everything shows up here, but everything doesn't show up here. That means that this and this are backwards. They're flipped backwards, which really means now I've got to backtrack and re-render everything. Yikes. So this piece, which is this piece, is flipped backwards. So we have to flip it. And the same thing with this one is flipped. They're upside down is what it is. Okay, so now when I turn off the force two-sided and I render it, now everything shows up. You should also, do this, have this on and render, and make sure nothing turns red, because that'll show you that things are overlapping too. Okay, so all right, so let's go ahead and save this out while I'm in here, and that's going to be our, and I don't need alpha on that. Then I'm going to turn this to none, turn our wire on, render that. That's our wire. So then we'll save that. And this needs to be a PNG. And it does need to have an alpha so that it's transparent. Save that. Okay, so now I have to go back in and rebake all of those maps I redid because we got some pieces that are upside down. So I'm going to pause it while I rebake these. Okay, so I got those rebaked. I got them loaded in here. So now let's load in our base color and our wire. Okay, so there's the wire. There's the base. So put that over there. That's a base color. And then our wire on top. And I'm going to put those at our top. And this is wire. And this is base color. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to start doing some texturing. Okay, so now we need to go over to Google and we need to get some wood. So I'm going to type in, I think, wood boards and images, and then we want to go to tools, and we only want to get large ones. Okay, so let's go wood board texture maybe. Yeah, okay, so like I said before, only large ones, and then the main thing is to get wood that I think the scale is pretty much correct or what I need. And I don't want something that's too old looking, too aged looking. I'm going to age it myself. So maybe let's go for... That looks pretty good, but it's a little small. Oh, I kind of like this one. So let's open the tab. Okay, once it downloaded, so I'm going to call this wooden boards. And then I'll upload that. Okay, so now we're going to go open that. And here. Okay, so here's some wooden planks. This is fine. It's got some nails with some rust. That's okay. This will work fine for what I need. And I think the scale of this is about right. Okay, now I did want to kind of show you guys also how to increase the scale, you know, if you need this bigger. So let's go to image, canvas size, and let's anchor it here. Let's go percentage. We're going to go 200 on our height and 200 on our width. And let me back that up. I want this background. Okay, so now do that. Canvas size, percent, 200 and 200. Okay, so now what we can do here is we're going to take this image and I'm going to hold down my Alt key and start moving it to the right. Then I'm going to hold down my Shift key and I'm going to snap it to the center, and you're going to have an issue right here where this doesn't line up, which is fine. Then we're going to go Edit, Transform, and flip horizontally, and now this will overlap. Now this has this mirror kind of look, which we don't like. So what I'm going to do is hold down my Shift and I'm going to move this back over the top like this. And now I'm going to put a mask on this, and then I'm going to go black to white, and then we're going to do a gradient. Make sure you have your gradient set to opaque, and then we're going to feather this. And then I get something like that where it doesn't look as bad. Okay. So I can go ahead now and I can merge these two layers together. And then I'm going to do the same thing by holding Alt to go down and the Shift, like so. And I don't think I need to flip that. I can just drift this back over, put a mask on that, and then let's feather that. Maybe something about like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and just select the, okay, should be using all layers. Okay, select this and invert that selection and crop that. Okay, so now I've got a much bigger selection of wood, and this will work good for me. Now the other thing I need to do is remove any kind of I need to remove the lighting out of this. I can see it's kind of lighter here and darker in the dark. Okay, so, and I need to merge these two layers. And so what I'm going to do is make a copy of this. I'm just holding down the Alt key, move it up, and I'm going to go to Filter, Other, High Pass. And now this is a dangerous thing because I see people do this all the time, and they end up with something like this, and this looks horrible. You've killed the texture. We really want this all the way to the right, okay? And then we're just backing it down a little bit until I've removed the lighting where it looks like the lighting is pretty much the same all the way across it. So what this number and where it will be different on yours than it is on mine, so I'll just copy my number. But this is right in here. This looks pretty good that it's taken the lighting out of it, and it looks pretty consistent. So I'm going to click OK. Now that drops the light out, the color out of it, which is fine. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and put this color one back on top and change our blending mode to color. And then all it's going to do is add color back. And now our lighting is pretty even in there. Okay, so at this point I'm going to copy this. So Control A to select everything, and then Control Shift C, which is copy merged, or you can go copy merged here. And now we're going to go over there and paste this onto our crate. Okay, so looks like I think the scale to my looks a little big, so I'm going to go smaller with it. Okay, this looks like that's in the ballpark a little bit better now. Main thing is get the scale right. I think that's a little big, maybe something like that. Okay, so then I'm going to do that same trick here where I'm going to hold down the Alt key, drag it, Shift, and then I'm going to edit, transform, flip horizontally, and put a mask on this one here. And then I'm going to feather it right about there. Okay, and merge those together. And now let's go. Let's just going to slide it up. And then hold down my Alt, drag it, Shift, and let it overlap. And mask. And straight like so. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then it's going to hold down the Shift, Alt, and I'm just going to copy that and paste it back on top. And then let's merge all of those. Okay, so now I have wood pattern that'll cover everything. Okay, that looks good. All right, so the next thing I want to know is we're going to turn our mask on here, and I'm going to put it in here by direction. So right now my wood is going horizontal. It doesn't matter if yours is horizontal or vertical. It doesn't make any difference. But this one is horizontal, so I'm going to name this wood horizontal. Okay, and then I'm going to make a copy of this. Okay, this one's going to be wood vertical. And then what I'm going to do is go Control T, then go up here to your angle, and I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees, and now this is going vertical. And then I'm going to make a copy of that one. This is going to be wood. This is going to be diagonal. And then I'm going to Control T, and then I'm going to rotate this one 45 degrees. And that one's going to diagonal. Okay, so now I can hide these. I've got my 3 different kinds of woods. And so the first one I'm going to do is this horizontal. Let's get that groove. Okay, so I need the horizontal ones, which is yellow. And okay, so we do have a problem here in that they put in my book, put too many IDs in here. Because these are horizontal too. So, okay, so we'll just start off. We're going to select by color range, and we're going to pick the yellow, and that's going to be all our ones going horizontal. So then I click on horizontal, and I add a layer mask, and it's going to drop that wood so it's only into that area. Looks like I got a little bit of drift in here, but I can fix that manually. Okay, so I need to also go to select. I think this needs to be that way too, so let's go select by color range, and let's pick the blue, and then I'm going to go to this mask here, and then I'm going to go Control delete, because that's my background color, which is white, which I need to add to that, and then that will show up in there as well. We do have some drift in here. I'd have to go back to the original bake and see why that's drifting in there. Looks like you got a piece of the art's not supposed to be in there, so that's easy to fix. I just select over that, and then I'm going to Alt Delete, fill that with black. That shouldn't have been drifting through there. That's an alignment with some of the pieces that are aligned not properly. Let's do the same here. So that's just Alt Delete, gets rid of that. You got some drift in here too. Here. So this is some pieces that were put in. This actually may not even show up, but I'm going to clean it up anyway. Okay. Down here too. Okay, so that's that wood. Okay, so now we're going to go back in here, and we're going to pick the green, which is vertical. So select by color range. Let's pick the green. Then that's going to be our vertical, and add a layer mask on that. And then that's all going to be going vertical. So in our case here, these need to be, I'm sorry, Control Delete so that you're putting that back in. Heck with that. Okay, and all right, so that's giving us that. What we got here too. So let's okay there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, that's looking pretty good. That little it's showing in there, we'll have to see. Deal with that later. Okay, so, but we also have these pink need to be that also. So we need to select color range again. And let's pick the pink. And then that is these. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so now our diagonals really, I need to revert this, so Control T and go back -45. And that's going to be only in this one. And then let's select color range. I have that layer selected. Select color range. Let's get these. And let's Control Delete. Okay. And then those are going to need to go the opposite way. So I'm going to need to copy this one. And this one, we're going to fill this in. It's black. And then this one, I need this with black. Okay. So now I need to rotate this one, so I just unlock it here. And Control T and 90. And then it's going the right way. Okay, so I'm going to run these orange ones vertical too. So let's go select color range, select the orange, and then that's going to be on the vertical ones, which is here. So control delete, oops, make sure you're on the mask, control delete. Alt delete. There we go. Okay, and then we need to get okay. It's looking pretty good. And then we can turn our the AO at the top, AO on. Then the AO blending mode is going to be multiply. Put our shadows back on. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Now I just need to take the plank look out of it. Okay, so we're going to start with this one. And so I'm going to go here. Okay, I'm just going to fill that with black for right now so that it's easy for me to see what's what here. And what I'm wanting to do is get rid of all of these little serrations, these lines in here, okay, where the boards are broken. So what I'm going to do is get my spot healing brush, and then if I got to make sure I pick that layer, hold down the shift key, and it will go straight across. And we should be able to fix that. Be sure you turn it on and off in between. Don't worry about going over anything else because everything else is, hidden. Okay. So we're just going through here and repairing and getting rid of those little edges to those boards in there because we don't want that from the original. That board's going to be put on with our AO so they're in the correct places. Don't like that. Better. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pause it while I do this. Okay, I'm also going to take out these nails that are in here because they're not going to align with the nails that I need. So any place in here where I see a nail with a little, take that out. Okay, so I'm going to pause while I do that. Okay, so I've got all of the horizontal ones fixed. So now I'm going to go in here and fix all these vertical ones. Okay, and I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, I've got those all taken care of now, and so I'm going to go ahead and group these together. So this is my base wood. Okay, so I need to save this. I haven't saved this yet. Okay, so this is our wood crate. Construction file. Construction. Okay, so this will hold all my layers. Okay, this has looked pretty good. And let's go troubleshoot this. So we're going to save this out as a TIFF right now. And we'll go put it back in. So let's see, where am I at? I'm in this folder right here. So this is, and I'll just leave that name on it, it's fine. So let's go over here. All right, let's hide our high poly and I'll turn my smoothing off right now. And let's put a general bitmap. And let's see, I need to go here. And there it is. Okay. All right, so now let's turn the wire off, and then we can see. I don't want that gradient back there. We can see our wood's going in the right directions. Okay, we can turn this to high quality if we want to. Let's turn our shadows off. We don't need the A. We can leave the A on. Okay, that's all looking pretty good. Okay, I've got a couple of things right there that we'll need to deal with. But overall, it's looking pretty good. I like the nail right there. Got a little bitty Yep, so overall this looks pretty good. Just a quick test. Okay, and now let's go in here and let's add some aging into this. Okay, so doing your aging the way I do it, and there's lots of ways you can do this, but this is the way I do it. I'm going to look for old concrete to get an image to use as a stain. Okay, so I'm going to go to Images, Tools, Size, Large, and what I'm looking for is something that's got, that I don't want something that's got like cracks in it, like this, because I don't want cracks in my wood. Okay, what I'm looking for is something that just has some regular patterning in it that would be good for like staining purposes. Something like this would work pretty good. Okay. Like this kind of stains, that looks good. That would be good. Now, what I'm going to do is I went out and shot my own photographs. Okay, so that's something I encourage people to do, is shoot your own photographs so that you can, when you're showing something, you're showing your process to somebody, you can show, oh, I shot my own photographs. Okay, which is what I did. So I'm going to go and open, and let's see, I've got some that I shot yesterday. And so these were some that I just shot walking around the school. So I kind of like this one. So let's just get about like that. Just gonna crop that, and then I can clone out these leaves. Okay, that will work. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and go back to our file and then just drop it in here. I think the scale on this is way too big, so we're going to bring it down. And I'm going to do a similar thing where I'm going to kind of clone it. Maybe there. And do a gradient mask. Let's get that. Oops. That works pretty good, so I'll go ahead and just merge these together. I'll do the same here. Mask on this. Maybe there. And then I can just copy this one down. Maybe that. And then I'll just merge those layers. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is start blending modes. Okay, so what I do is I just use the down arrow keys and see how I want to blend this in. And there's lots of ways to do it. Okay. That has certain value to it. If you were to turn down, turn it down, kind of like this, like that kind of looks like some stuff that's splattered on it. Okay. I kind of like that. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave that. I'm going to come up here and put this back on top. I'm going to turn it back to normal. And what I'm going to do is let's transform this, flip it vertical, Now I'm going to do a different blending mode with this one. Okay, that multiply looks pretty nice on there. That's adding some kind of nice grunge to this. I kind of like that. It's too much, and that's one of the things I see with young people when they're doing this, is they just leave it too much. Okay, I still want to look like wood, but I just want to look wood aged a little bit, so I need to turn down my transparency. The thing is, I want it to look subtle on there. So we don't want these to scream out too much. We just want a subtle kind of staining on there. Okay, that looks pretty good. And other things that you can use that I've used in the past is you can use things like old paper. Okay, you can use old paper is good. You don't really want wrinkles, so if you find something with wrinkles in it, we don't want that. But you can find some, you know, it's got some nice little discolorations on it. Something like this works really well. I've also used like old asphalt. You can get some nice discolorations from old asphalt. And I think I'm going to look for right now is old rust. And that you can get some nice texturing from old rust too. Okay. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go old dripping rust. Okay, something like this. Some nice drips. Okay, I'm going to bring this. I like this one. I think I'm going to take this one. Yeah, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to bring this in here too. And I'm just going to float that on top right now. I'll come back to that. Okay, so these are stains. So I'm just going to call this concrete stain 1. And this will be stain 2. And then let's put those in a folder together. And we'll just call this concrete stains. If I can spell right.